Hello, I'm Alan Price. I'm from Solihull Christian Fellowship, and I'm talking today about fathers in a series of 4 talks. This is the third one I'm doing, and the title is Equipping Your Children. We're committed to supporting families wherever we can at Solihull Christian Fellowship. And, one of the things we really would benefit from is having some feedback from people who've been watching these talks. So please do send in an email with your thoughts or ideas or questions about what you've got out of these talks so far. The email will appear on the screen at any time now. Anyone can father a child, but it takes a dad to really bring up a child, and to become a dad can take a lifetime of work. And this role can have a large impact on a child and help shape him or her into the person they become. My talk today is entitled Equipping Our Children, and equipping them for life is something we've touched upon already in the series, and the importance of giving correct answers to their questions to enable your child to defend themselves when they have people questioning them about their own ideas and values. And this will happen by your example too. It's one thing to talk the talk, but it's another to walk the walk. And we need to show to our children that we mean what we say. You need to be authentic. And that's really important. It may mean you need to raise your own standards, but you are now the grown-up, and it is up to you. Your children will look up to you and see what you're doing and want to do the same. My view is that what we do sets the example for our children and also for many others around us. And they also will look to us to see what we're doing as fathers. So it's not just a role to be trifled with, it's really important to be the role model that we want others to follow. So how do we do this? My scripture today is from Luke chapter 11, verse 12, and it says, "Which of you fathers, if your son asks for a fish, will give him a snake instead?" Now, this is the words of Jesus himself as he was talking to the people around him who had gathered to listen to what he had to say. He was a great, wise person that could bring words of life. And he's saying that God will provide for us with whatever we ask for him. And we ask God through prayer. And because God loves us and cares for us, he wants the best for us. So likewise, you dads, you want the best for your children, don't you? You want the best and to be able to provide the best for them. But I'm not talking about providing in terms of monetary sense. Anybody can write a check to keep a child happy or buy the latest game. I'm talking about equipping children in various ways, and it may not be as costly as you think in terms of your pocket, but it certainly will be back to that thing we talked about called TIME. So how do we provide or equip our children? One of the ways we found is to celebrate events in our children's lives, to show to them that we think that they matter. We celebrate the milestones such as new jobs, engagements, and with my 6 children, we have had 5 18th birthday parties. The reason only 5 is because my last 2 boys are twins, and they had a joint celebration. And these 18th birthday parties have been quite legendary. They've all been at our home with family and friends. We've been in the garden with marquees and barbecues and pig roasts and all sorts to really make it a great party. But we had a good mix of people to show that family matters. Older people are valuable in our children's upbringing and in their lives, and we want them to be part of their lives. And that their own friends can come to our house and be welcomed and be celebrated too. We like to keep things in the open. A party in the home, in the garden, is a fabulous way of making memories that last forever. Friends of ours, they decided that they would give their daughter an 18th birthday party, and decided that they would go next door and let them get on with it. And it turned out to be a disaster. The police had to be called, and it just got out of hand. It's so much easier to be part of it, to be part of their lives, and they'll never forget that. They'll grow up knowing that you care. Have adventures with your children. These can be simple, like putting up a tent in the back garden and staying out overnight, or even for just a couple of hours. Or the full-on Bear Grylls stuff, if you're up to that. I remember putting a ladder up to my son's bedroom window for one of their birthday parties, and letting all of their friends, they were about 10 years old, letting all their friends climb out of the bedroom window and down the ladder. I mean, it's exciting for them. I hope their parents didn't mind too much. And, you know, girls will love that stuff too. You only have to ask them, and if they don't, they'll soon tell you fast enough. We've had treasure hunts, Easter egg hunts, cycle rides, fishing, weekends at a youth hostel. Very cheap way of having a good weekend away. It's a bit simple in terms of accommodation, but lots of great fun. And as soon as this lockdown finishes, we'll all be off to do something like this. We've loved it. I've loved it. We've made sure all our children can swim to the gold standard at the Tudor Grange swimming pool. It's taken a lot of Saturday mornings over the years, but really worth it. Equipping them again. And when my children got older, I spent many a weekend under the bonnet of a car with a Haynes manual showing them how to fix the car, hoping that I could also work it out as we went along. Real bonding stuff. It's really great. And I'm hoping now to go wild camping with my sons and daughters as they're now grown up, if they'll take me, and they've said they will, but I'm waiting until the weather picks up a bit. And you know, not all children are academically gifted, and so passing exams may be a struggle for some. But you know, being equipped for life can be far more important towards them achieving their goals and ambitions. 3 of my children struggle with dyslexia. It took time to find that out, and that's something which is a bit of a regret for us. But that hasn't defined them. They've gone on to do really great things. You may know the inventor and entrepreneur Elon Musk. Recently he's been saying he's convinced that a degree is no measure of one's ability in his company. He's looking for different qualities and different attributes of his employees. And you can help provide these. They're things like honesty and integrity. Simple stuff. Always say what you mean and mean what you say. Do the right thing. Hand in the money that you found on the street and wait to see what happens, rather than just keeping it and keeping quiet. Own up to things. Own up to when you've done wrong. Check yourself and make sure that you are doing the right thing. Confidence. Don't be overly critical of your children, but instead catch your children doing something good. Tell them that they are able. Encourage them. Think about good things to say to them, and you'll build their confidence. Don't knock them down. Love. What a great attribute. Bit over talked about at this time of Valentine's Day, but I mean love in the truest sense of the word. Love where you'll give, a giving love. So don't be judgmental of others around you. Your children watch to see what you're doing. Show that you value other people. They'll see that. Gossiping is not a good idea. It's not seeing the best in others. But your children will watch you and learn and grow from what you're doing. Another attribute is curiosity. Take an interest in things about you and point things out to your children of interest. I remember we used to go on car rides and we'd stop off and have a look at things and get involved, whatever it was, a physical thing or something that was man-made. For me, bridges, I love bridges. There's some fantastic bridges around that you can really get excited about and really show that you have an interest in stuff. We all love bird watching as a family, and we always take the bird books with us and the binoculars and try and see out some new species. We're not mad at it, but we really enjoy it. Another attribute is resilience. I love that word. I think it's really important. I think that means persevering in things that we do and helping us to be able to cope with stress. We so often want to protect our children from our own problems, but it may be helpful sometimes to share those difficult times with them. Show them how you coped with the situation. We're all bombarded with external pressures in today's world, and there is now a prevalence of mental health issues resulting in that. I think that resilience is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to our children, to equip them, and it will help them to face the world and know that they have a confidence to overcome those problems that they may face. Caring. Show your children that you care. You know, you've got a vested interest in this because my wife always points out that if we care for our aunties, uncles, mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers, our children watch this. So when we become those people that need their help, they'll give it to us. Sounds a bit mercenary, but it's passing on those attributes again. Caring for the world. This is very much a strong topic now, isn't it? And our children will often consider that our generation has been the generation that's wasted and done some poor things for the ecology of the world. But you know, we know how to mend things, don't we? We were brought up that way, rather than throwing things away. I really struggle to throw things away. I much prefer to take it to bits and see whether I can fix it again. Something my father instilled in me, and I try and instill in my children as well. We don't buy lots of designer clothes in our house. It doesn't bother us. It doesn't define us. You know, okay, we might have some nice clothes, but that doesn't make us the people that we are. And sometimes those designer clothes are made under shocking circumstances. You know. We also don't pay much attention to sell-by dates. We try our best to make sure that the food is fresh and good, but we use the sniff test. That's often more sufficient. And you know, mending things leads on to dealing with conflict, part of caring, rather than walking away. Resolving conflicts is so important in building relationships. If you have a disposable culture, a disposable attitude, then when you get to that point in a relationship where you feel it's gone too far, it's easy to walk away. But actually, if you've got a mending attitude where you want to resolve conflicts, it's a far better way. You know, often it's in you that the problem needs to be resolved, and you can run away and try and find another relationship, but the same things can happen. Show your children that you can resolve conflicts. Show them that it takes time, it takes love, but it can be done. We have a blame culture and we need a mend culture. Following through. Do what you say that you are going to do. Whether this is a reward, a consequence, or even given a treat. Say it if you mean it. If you say it, then do it. It will grow their confidence. My own father, I have to admit, a sad thing for me, but he said he would take me skiing if I did well in my O-levels. But there was no measure put on this, so I didn't really know what doing well meant. I tried my hardest, and it did provide me with some incentive to do well. But in the end, he couldn't afford to take me skiing. He said it was too expensive. We did go camping to Spain instead, and we had a great time, a lovely bonding time, but that was pretty cool, but it left me feeling confused. I didn't really understand when he'd offered something, how it didn't work through. And I've learned now that it's important if you say something to mean it. I've got over it now. I've been skiing about 20 times with lads, with the family, with all sorts of people, and I got over it since and got my full fill of skiing since then. But it's just making sure when you say something, mean it. Letting children make their own mistakes. We need to hold up the little ones and protect them because they're vulnerable. But wrapping up a child in cotton wool is not particularly helpful in my view. Likewise, letting them roam free without any boundaries at all is not a good idea either. Children need boundaries. We all need boundaries. If there are no boundaries as a child, then they may not be able to set their own boundaries when they become an adult. And this can lead to all sorts of relationship problems and even abusive situations in extreme cases. We can drive our youngest children to school or walk them to school when they're at junior level, but when they get to secondary school, it's time sometimes just to let them go, let them find their own way there, let them get on the bus. It builds independence in them, it builds a confidence in them. If they're always relying upon you, then they don't have to worry, they just don't have to take responsibility. It gives them confidence to be equipped to face life's challenges. I mean, I could have been a full-time taxi driver for my 6 children, but at times I needed to say no and get them sort out their own transport. They got very upset about it, and I used to get upset with the way that they reacted to me, but I knew it was right in the long run for them to sort themselves out. I met a chap on holiday once. We were in Portugal, and I couldn't believe the way he treated his grown-up children. He wouldn't let them go. He did everything for them. He admitted it. He admitted that it was something in him that he felt it was a real virtue that he would look after his children. So much so that his son, I think his son was at least 32, 33, and was summoned to court. But it just so happened it coincided with a holiday. Rather than going to court, the son decided to go on holiday. So the father went to court for the son and pleaded his case. The judge was not impressed, and the outcome was not particularly good. But I mean, how far can you go? I wonder why we do this, dads. I wonder why we do this. Is it because we want to live a missed life through our children? I don't think so, but good check to think about that one, isn't it? Or maybe we mistake mollycoddling for caring. Mollycoddling can be a little bit too much. and you can end up with a child that can be spoiled and needs some sorting out. Finally, correcting with love. This is part of boundary setting. There must be consequences of bad behaviour for overstepping the boundaries, but keep relationship with the child at the same time. My old friend and mentor Don Double would always say to me, rules without relationships equals rebellion. And Don Double is a lovely man, still going strong, a great man of God, real wise. And what he means by that is correct with love. Keep in relationship. Don't alienate the child and push them away because of hurts or angers in you. Check yourself. Are you getting angry with the child because of something in you? Keep the child close. Correct them. Make sure they know the consequences, but don't let go of them. And keep the consequence at a sensible level. Make the punishment fit the crime, as they say. And be prepared to back down. Sometimes you may get it wrong and be too overbearing. I can't count the number of times I've gone back into my children's room to say sorry for being overbearing and to restore relationships. Do you know you're a bigger man when you say sorry? It is true. Even when you don't think you're in the wrong, sometimes you just have to back down and say, I got it wrong. Oof, that can hurt our pride, can't it, chaps? But you know, pride is certainly something that goes before a fall. So keep it in check. Chaps, you are one of the most valuable things in your children's lives. You really have a fantastic job. You're doing really well. Keep going. Keep it up, because your children are going to turn out fantastic, and we'll look forward to seeing your children becoming those important people in life that will really make the difference. So keep up the good work, and pop into Solihull Christian Fellowship in the Shirley area. Okay, thank you very much for listening.